everyone, thanks so much for joining me. My name is Susan Timchak. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'd like to welcome you here. If you're brand new to my channel, thank you for joining me. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and there's a little bell next to that, and that will give you notification when I have uploaded new videos. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks so much for coming back. Now I'm continuing in my series of birthday cards from a class that I did last week. And this is the final in the cards that we created. So what we're going to be working with tonight is this little piggy. I saw this stamp set when I was at On Stage, and it was a #1 must-have. Surprisingly, they had an all-attendee giveaway, and we all got this stamp set for free. Woohoo! Free is for me. So they gave away the red rubber. Now, if you notice, my stamps look a little not so fitting in these little grooves here. What I did was I did a little stamp surgery. I cut off the words. I know, eek, no worries, because I may want to stamp a certain stamp and not have the words, such as in the card I'm making today. So I cut off the words. I also trimmed a little bit closer than what they are trimmed out by Stampin' Up! Because I noticed some of the stamps I was getting little edges, so I just used my real sharp paper snips, cleaned them after I was done to get all the gook off from the adhesive, and just trimmed around them. And you can do that. These are your stamps. You can do whatever you want to do. So I thought I would use this little "You Make Me Happy." I cut that off, and instead of this little piggy having a flower, wait till you see what we're going to create. So I did a little prep ahead of time. I don't know why, but YouTube only gives me so much time, and then they tell me my videos are too long. So I did a little prep ahead of time. And the base of the card is going to be this new in color that we have, which is called Powder Pink. And this is the cardstock, and then this is the ribbon. Isn't that beautiful how all of our colors coordinate, and you don't need to worry about, you know, is that going to matchy that? I mean, even if you can't stamp anything, your card's going to look amazing because it all color coordinates. So this will be our card base. So we'll set that aside for now. So I took another piece of the powder pink cardstock, and I cut it down. And excuse me, I cut it down to, let me see, 3 3/4 by 5. And sorry about that. Allergies killing me. And I used this new Big Shot folder. It's called the Ruffle Dynamic Texture Impressions Embossing Folder. So just for namesake, let's just call this the ruffled folder. And if you notice, it's extra thick. And what that does is it gives you a fine impression. Now look at this. Does this not look like it's actually ribbons? But it's not. It was just tucked inside here, closed it up, ran it through my Big Shot, and out it came. I mean, it is truly three-dimensional. If you really want to get fine impressions on this, just take your Stampin' Mist and mist it with a little bit of water. Don't saturate it, just get it a little damp, and then run it through. Put it in your folder and run it through your Big Shot, and you'll even get a deeper impression on that. Okay, so let me just put that aside. Okay, so I took a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I stamped the pig image on there using our basic black archival ink. So now I want to use this in a layering technique. So rather than wasting cardstock, here's all you have to do, and no one is going to tell, right? Because we don't tell what happens at stamp class. So stamp him on your piece. Then I'm using we're doing a lot of Big Shot work here today. I'm using the Big Shot This is the, let me get the technical terminology, it's the stitch shapes. It's hard to see. Well, I should just look at the back, doll. The stitch shapes. And I have these on magnetic sheets, and you get the ovals, you get the circles, and you get the squares. And the nice thing about these is if you look closely on here, it's going to give you that stitched edge, which in the past we've had to use a paper piercing tool and poke, 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 but no poking on this card. It's already done for you. So this is going to be our layering piece on here, so no one's going to know. So we're going to take our oval and we're going to put it on here, and we're going to run it through the Big Shot. Then when you're done, you'll get this. And then you'll also get your little piggy. And here it is, those stitch marks on there. So all you have to do is you're going to layer these two together, and no one's going to know that there's a hole in the center because that's going to be layered together. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Now, so that I don't take away any of the texture on this ruffled piece, I'm just going to put my adhesive on this frame piece that we cut out, and then layer this on top of there. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay. And we'll press that down. So now what we want to do, we're going to take some of this really wonderful ribbon that color coordinates. And when we did the card on Friday, I totally forgot about the ribbon. The ribbon was out of my eyesight, and yeah, that's all it takes sometimes. Just, you know, it's just not there. So not there and forgotten. So look how beautifully this ties. And I did that so quick I wasn't even explaining. It's just basically wrapped around and tied a knot. That's it. That's all. Very simple, easy. I'm kind of at an angle here. Trim that. And trim that. Put that aside. I don't like the way that one looks. Let's just fix that. There we go. Okay. So we have our piece that we cut out, and we colored him in. So how did I do that? Let me just show you. All I did was I took the ink pads. Now for the grass, I'm using Tranquil Tide, and I squeezed the center like we did on a previous card. And this is an aqua painter. And just took a little bit of that color and just added, just to add a little bit to make him, you know, that he's on the grass. So we're done with that. Now we're going to do the same with our pink. Made a little well there. Make sure this is cleaned off. I just used my hand. I mean, it's only ink. And we're just going to color him in. I'm trying to put a little bit of the darker color and work my way on the left and work my way to the right. And I mean, it's very basic watercoloring. Now you do want to be careful so as not to play too much with the water and the paper, because it'll start to peel up on you if you're using just the plain old Whisper White cardstock. Oh, and let's not forget his tail. There we go. There's our little piggy. Okay, we'll put him aside because I already have one done. All right, so here's this. So now what I want to do is I'm going to use the Stampin' Dimensionals, and I hope I'm not running too long here that I'm going to get cut off. I don't know why YouTube doesn't let me have more time. You know, I never ask for much, YouTube. Oh, but before we do this, we're going to put that onto the card. Take out these Stampin' Dimensional backings. But let's do this first. Or you know what, let's just do this. Let's put it on our card base. Then we don't have to worry because we have that ribbon on there. I think I'll move my ribbon over. Alright, so we're just going to do a little bit of layering here. And I know I sometimes go real fast, so if there's something that you don't understand, or, you know, something I'm using that you're like, well, how do you use that? You know, just leave it in the comments below. More than happy to help you with that. Am I straight? I feel I'm a little crooked. These dimensionals are a little forgiving in that they give you a little time to do that. And I stamped Happy Birthday. What I used for that is, this is an oldie but goodie. It's still in the clamshell case. Teeny Tiny Wishes. And if you need a saying of any sorts, I mean, that is the go-to definite stamp set you're going to want. It covers everything from get well to happy birthdays to graduation, Father's Day, Mother's Day, anything in between. So I just stamped that on a scrap piece. I cut up the center. I'm going to make a little flag out of this and cut and cut, and there we go. There's that. So we can go ahead and don't look at the back. You know me, guys. You know, paper has two sides, so I don't like the first side. I turn it over and stamp on the other side. This is going to go down here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use this really cute balloon punch. Makes two different size balloons. So I'm going to stick this in. I'm going to use it upside down. I use a lot of my punches that way, upside down, so I can see. I want a small balloon out of this Tranquil Tide, and then I'm going to do a larger balloon out of this Fresh Fig. There we go. Easy peasy. Okay, so here's our balloons. I'm using a white signal gem pen just to kind of give a little emphasis on the balloons here. You know, maybe a little something down here at the bottom. Okay, again, more Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm like a Stampin' Dimensional fool sometimes, I think. I just love them. I love how they give the dimension on cards or anything that you're creating, just to raise it up a little bit. Now we're not going to use the flower, but we are going to use that piece that's, you know, this what would have been the stem. We're going to use that as like it was string. So we're going to put our little balloons like that. Then mini glue dots. I took the white baker's twine and I just tied two little bows. So we're just going to go ahead and pick them off of here. And yeah, I knew that that was going to happen. Okay, well, let's do it this way. Use our scissors, which is what I should have done to start with, but I'm trying to hurry here. You know what happens with that. So we'll tie our little bow there. That'll give me an opportunity to show you how to do a little bow. Same as before, a loop, wrap around, push another loop up through that hole and pull, and then fix to your liking. Pull it tight and just, you know, make it as small or as big as you like. And again, working right from the spool. And we'll just attach that to that glue dot. And you can fix those too, however it is you like. Now let me just show you one thing before we go. So that's my completed card. If you wanted to, you can go ahead, use your Wink of Stella on the balloons to add just a little bit of sparkle, or you can put them on the pig, or you can, you know, Wink of Stella, whatever it is you want to do. Your card. Okay, one last tip. Now, did you know that this baker's twine that we sell, you can actually curl it, just like curling ribbon? Watch this. Look at how fun this is. Just take your scissors, just like you were curling ribbon, and look at how that gives a nice little curl. Not sure if you can see that. Let's try that on the black. Look at that, how it curls up. So think of that next time when you're making some projects and you want to add a little bit of ribbon. Okay, that is our final card in this series. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's a little closer look. I know I did. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Bye for now. Glimmer hugs.